like exceeded our expectations. We're so excited. It's sold out. So thank you so much. And we wanted to do this Women Founders Breakfast with Marquis International Women's Day. I'm sorry if the boys in the room, but we know the pet industry is kind of a boys club. So we wanted to make our own girl club and show that women founders and women, people in the pet space and my dog Corral can do everything that the boys can do, and sometimes even better. So excited, and this is our amazing panel of women founders in the space. So I'm going to let them go and introduce themselves and their company, what they do, and we'll get started.
Hi, I'm Ava. I'm 16 years old. I started my business, Ava Petstars, when I was 8, and I'm
organic and all-natural dog and cat treats.
Hi, I am Jane Wagman. I'm not going to say my age. I am, and this is Oliver, and I founded Pride and Groom, which is all-natural dog grooming products.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jen Glazer, and I co-founded Zippy Paws. We are a modern dog and cat lifestyle brand. We mostly do dog toys and dog accessories.
Hi, I'm Andrea Huspany, and I'm the founder of This Dog's Life. It's a curated marketplace featuring the best of the best. Often, or most of them, are founded by women. And then we also have our Bye Bye Dog Breath line, which we use microbiome technology to solve oral periodontal disease.
Hi, my name is Colleen. I'm the founder of Pets on Q. You may also have seen me on Petstars on Netflix. Pets on Q is an animal talent agency, so we work with pet influencers, creators, and animal actors on movies and TV and stuff.
And I'm Megan. I am one of the founders of the Pet Summit. And yeah, excited to be here. So, starting with Colleen, how did you initially come up with the idea for your business, and what inspired you to pursue it?
I fell face first into it, I would say, as we all do. I had just adopted a deaf Dalmatian from a local shelter, and I transformed him, he was crazy, and then to being a therapy dog and being able to book him in a TV show, and people started noticing that online, and he started growing a following online. And he was booking GQ magazine, and he's very pretty. So people wanted their pet to do it too, so they would reach out to me, but I was working as a banker. And I was like, this is such a cool industry and be so much more fun than like doing people's like loans and taxes and fun stuff. But it kind of started out of the necessity for the industry, and I also was witnessing a lot of abuse in the industry, especially in the animal actor industry, and I really wanted to make a difference and change it, and I felt like there was a really easy solution to do that by temperament testing the animals before going on set and working with them and just making sure they overall want to be there. Because everyone has two pets, right? You have two cats, and one's hiding under the bed and the other one's like, I'm the center of attention, right? Like those are the ones we're looking for. So just by temperament testing and working with them beforehand, we're able to kind of change the methodology in the industry, and I absolutely love it. You can tell I'm really passionate about it, and just changing the industry and making it better and looking at it from a different light. Yeah.
Andrea, you're next.
We're answering. Okay.
Does that work? Okay. What unique perspectives and innovations do you believe women bring to the pet industry, and how do these contribute to the success of your business?
Thank you. So when I started This Dog's Life, what I had seen in the industry was that there were so many amazing, innovative companies that were coming to fruition, and they were focusing on sustainability, high quality, and traceability. And ironically, like all of them were women founded. And so I think women have this, from my experience, had this more like thoughtful way to approach the industry and see like, we really want to create a better experience for dog parents. And I just like give kudos to everyone who has done it. And then in terms of like perspective, like you have to remember that women, when they do the consumer shopping, they're doing 70 to 80% of consumer shopping within their families. And so this is such a huge opportunity as women founders to understand that women are also the ones that are the consumers and are purchasing. So that provides like an great opportunity to connect with them and provide them the products that they're looking for. And then lastly, I'm in the consumer industry, it's becoming very noisy and it can become a lot of products out there. And so it's like one way that I think to differentiate yourself is to have that relationship with customers, not a top-down relationship, but a two-way relationship. And one place I think women really excel at is community building and really engaging with their customer in an authentic way. And so those are my perspectives and why I'm super excited to see more women founders in the pet space.
Awesome. Jen, in a predominantly male-dominated industry, what challenges do you face as a woman founder in the pet space, and how do you overcome them?
I mean, where to start, right? I feel like when I started Zippy Paws back in 2011, the industry was just saturated with, male-started companies, and they didn't take me seriously. I was 21 years old, fresh out of college, and I had to really make a name for myself. And, as young as I was, I just think I didn't have the experience. And that was especially challenging because there were a lot of people who just dismissed me based on how I looked or based on how young I was. But obviously, as we can tell, we lift women in the industry. I mean, Ava's a prime example of that. It's been very difficult to separate myself from the context in which Zippy Paws was started. So my co-founder is my dad, and he used to work for another dog toy company. And I've always been introduced as Benny's daughter. She started Zippy Paws when she was in college. So it's been a long and hard road to kind of step away from that context and be known as, oh, this is Jen from Zippy Paws, and she's making strides in the industry. So that's been a long road, but I think we've been successful in overcoming that. Yeah.
Jane, how do you stay informed about the latest trends in the pet industry, and how do you incorporate them into your business strategy?
Well, thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
Well, you're looking at one of them by, being part of panels and, speaking and things like that. But the amount of newsletters I get in my inbox every single morning from Beauty Matters to Epoch Time, it's endless, and you never know when that nugget of information is going to come in. And sometimes I'll see a headline and it's VCs funding women-founded businesses, and it's you just never know. And so I just try and do that literally all day long, and LinkedIn and connecting with we keep saying the same things over and over again, so obviously there's got to be truth to it. Connecting and partnering with other dog brands, but specifically female-founded ones, has been women lift women up. We're all kind of in it together, and I think my gain is your gain, is your gain, is your gain, and I felt that since day one. So.
Yeah, I really agree with having all those emails coming in. I feel subscribe to every newsletter you can find.
Everything you can find.
From fashion to beauty to dog
exactly.
to anything.
Anything. 90% of it might be crap, but when you get that 10%, that's gold.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Ava. Y'all, I love Ava. Just
who doesn't?
I'm just obsessed with her so much. She started a company when she was 8, and she's adorable. Okay, sorry. Girl crush. So how do you balance the demands of running a successful pet business with other aspects of your personal and professional life, being a 16-year-old?
Yes. I will start off by saying that it does get very challenging at times, especially being in high school. I'm a junior right now, and there's a lot going on, especially with business, as we're trying to grow and scale our business right now, while also keeping up with what I'm going to do after high school. There's a lot going on. My parents are a very big help with that, a very big part in that. My mom, she works full-time for my business, and my dad, he helps out with whatever he can. And I would just say taking time for myself is a very big thing, and I find very important. You have to recharge yourself and give yourself what you need in order to put what's best back into your business. And I found that whenever I'm feeling a little bit less energized or more drained. I have to take that step back and do what I need to do to feel better, to be able to like put what I want to put in my business and continue to grow. So.
I mean, like what I was doing at 16 was not sitting on a stage. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm sure you all know what we were doing at 16. It wasn't this. If you want to pass that back down to Colleen, and we'll come back. So, Colleen.
Yes.
Can you share a key lesson or piece of advice you've learned on your journey as a female entrepreneur in the pet space?
I would say number one, trust yourself. If anyone out here is a woman trying to get into the industry, always trust your gut. You know, we're always right. Also, I think surround yourself by a team of people that are smarter than you at things that you're not great at. I feel like the reason for my company's success is my team. I genuinely love every person on my team. They all bring something different to the table that I am not an expert at. And that's what's helped grow my company in ways that I never expected. Yeah, I think that that's my best piece of advice.
Awesome. Andrea, in your experience, how important is networking and mentorship in the women pet industry space, and how have these relationships impacted your business?
I think it is extremely, extremely important. I think one thing is, you know, you hear the stats like only 2% of women get funded, and you hear that information all the time. And so women tend to come together and like, let's help each other, let's figure it out, let's get scrappy, let's use the same resources. So it's super, I think that's like one of the positive things is that you're building a community around female founders. So I'm definitely in a lot of like WhatsApp groups, female founder groups, accelerator programs, just to continue to, and it's not just in the pet space, but just to continue to build out that network and show up to events. I know sometimes it can be, you're like, I don't want to go to this event, but you never know what will, yeah, you agree. You never know what will become of it. And then, you know, also, as I know, as you think about, you know, the, maybe, I was like, do you want treats? As you think about this industry, which you know, it is pretty male, I know. As you think about this industry and it's pretty male dominated, what I have found though is that there has been so many men allies in the industry that has helped tremendously. I mean, lean into that. They've like helped with introductions, they've helped with advice, networking opportunities, and they're always so open to it. So I don't want it to be like us against them. I think we can do it together. And I've never had any, there's always been such support around it. So, you know, think about that too.
Awesome. I 100% agree with that. Sorry for Pharrell. Obviously, he is the Beyonce of my household, and he wants to be involved in everything, including this, apparently. So, yeah. He does make it better, you know. Only boy on the stage. Well, and Oliver. Yeah. Oliver's so little, I can only see his ear. Okay, Jen. As a founder, what strategies have you employed to build a supportive and inclusive work culture in your pet business?
Yeah, I mean, building the work culture has been kind of like what I feel is the most important in my business, is because if I don't have a team that I can fully trust and depend on, then Zippy Pods wouldn't be what it is today. And I think I have some strategies, but I've also made some bad hires in the past, like we all have done. And as Colleen said, you know, hire the person who can do the job that you are the weakest at, right? So I'm not really a numbers person. That's why I hired somebody to do my books. And my specialty is product development. So I've held on to that for as long as possible. For about 8 years, I was, you know, the person who was hand drawing my designs on an iPad because I don't know how to use Photoshop that well. But in the last 2 years, I've hired two designers to help with product design. And building that strong community around you is the first step to making your business really successful. And we are company is mostly women as well, and they're very young. So I do like to have that mentorship with them. And I think it's super, super important for the people that you hire to share the same values as you, and not just in terms of business, but life goals and life values. And I think it's super important that their goals and your goals are aligned, so they feel they respect me and I respect them, and it's that mutual respect and that mutual trust that helps to build a strong community and within your own company. Yeah.
Awesome. Jane, can you share a specific challenge or setback you've encountered in the pet business and a strategy that you employed to overcome it?
I mean, you have all day. But I actually never really grew up thinking that there was like a glass ceiling or that I couldn't do anything that I wanted as a woman. I've always worked. My fellow founders, we've all always worked. So when we decided to start Pride and Groom, it wasn't like our first thing, like, oh, we just, our babies are grown, we're gonna start a new thing. Like, we've all been working nonstop. And it was just, our next act. And so we found this small manufacturer, a man, and we go and we meet with him and we explain what we want to do. And he looks at us and he's like, so what, you're just bored housewives? And I was like, I have literally never in my life experienced that kind of a comment. And I honestly haven't again, and it's been said on this panel, the other thing I do to stay up in trends is to meet with literally anyone who will talk to me, and men and women, and I've never, everyone is so lovely and so helpful. But that was a slightly off-putting, as you can imagine. But we kind of just snarled. I mean, I don't know what to say, how to say we overcame it, because we were literally, we were a little bit like, rock in a hard place, and we didn't have another option, and he was an amazing manufacturer with no minimums, and that was what we needed at the time. But, as soon as we could afford to leave him, we left him and, reverse engineered our own product, even though we were supposed to buy it from him, and, we, shouldn't say that out loud, but yeah, it was a little bit like karma. It's like, yeah, you think, we're paying you for these formulas. Nice try, but anyway, so. Well, that's what he gets first time. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Ava, what advice do you have for inspiring women entrepreneurs looking to start their own pet business? What key skills or qualities do you believe are essential to have success in this space?
That's a good question. So with every interview that I've done, I feel like something that I always say is to make sure it's something that you're passionate about. That's something that I stand by. Like I was saying earlier, there will be tough times while running a business. There will be bumps in the road, and times that you feel, a little bit less, what's the word? I guess less wanting to do things. And having that passion behind whatever it is that you are pursuing is very important. It keeps you going. It helps you to continue building at whatever you're building at, and, working towards that end goal. Some key qualities. That is a very good question. I don't know if there's, I feel like being open to taking, constructive criticism and, being able to, work on your business every, chance you get, being able to put in the advice that others give you and put it back into your business to, make it, better each time. I don't know. I think that's all I have. But okay, here you go.
Do any of you have anything else you want to say? Any other words of advice or? Oh yeah. Okay. Here.
Sorry, thank you.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know what your plans are and what your goals are, because you're just so inspiring.
Thank you.
You have a whole room of crushes on you now.
Well, first, thank you. I appreciate that. I would say, so, I don't know. When I graduate high school, I definitely want to continue Ava's Pet Palace. I want to work on building more with like the products that we do have and like adding more like to our lineup. We only have, or well, majority of our treats are dog treats right now, so adding to our cat treat lineup and really working on like marketing. We have to spend a lot of time doing like a lot of day-to-day things. It's only us three, me, my mom, and my dad, like for our team right now, or like for like the most part. So we spend a lot of time doing a lot of the like things that need to get done, but being able to spend more time like marketing and putting our brand out there more would be pretty cool as well. So thank you.
I have a question for any of you. I've been in like the pet startup space for a long time, and every single CEO has been a man. So I've seen the side of the VC, like how they get funding and everything. And I worked for example Fi. You all know Fi, the dog collars. And before the product was even like physical, it was just a rendering, they got $10 million, you know? And like he just walked in and got it. And I know it is not like that for you ladies. So any like advice or comments on like how to get, funding as a woman in the pet space? Because I know it is a huge challenge. I don't know if any of you have.
No advice. We're fully self-funded, so.
Oh, well, there you go.
I know that, luckily.
Yeah, I can.
I don't have to answer to anybody, so I like that.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's awesome. We've done a round or two of funding, and I think you sort of like I was always taught like use what you got, and I think being a woman like really can work to your advantage because it's kind of refreshing for them to see a woman, and we've had really amazing experiences of people saying I took this call as a courtesy to, XYZ, and I'm really impressed. And it's really nice to see women, who know their stuff and are so passionate and know their numbers. And, I think as a woman, you kind of almost have to come doubly prepared because if you don't know your numbers, you're just an idiot. Whereas a man could be like, oh, let me check with my CFO. We don't really have that leeway, but I also think, like I said, it can work in your advantage, to your advantage as well, because like they're not used to it and they're happy to be sitting across from you at the table as opposed to another man who looks exactly like them. But.
I could spend a couple hours on this. So we took a small round, and I think about going down the VC route, and then I toggle between not doing it and doing it. And the reason being is because, like I said, it was interesting, like it used to be only 1.7% of women got funding. And I think yesterday I was looking at the number and it was like 2.1. And I sadly got excited about that. And I was like, wow, that's telling of me. So the issue I think is like how VCs look at men companies versus women companies, and there's been stats out that VCs love for men being like, what's the future? What are you going to build? What's this big dream? And for women, we're getting grind, about the numbers and about what we've done and the traction. And so I think that there needs to hopefully be a conversation where it doesn't matter if you're a man or woman, you're getting asked the same questions. But that said, I think for advice, it's like coming up with a plan where that might not happen. You might not get investing. And how can you build a profitable business model, which will in the end be better anyway, because you're not chasing VC dollars, you're not having to change your business plan, you're not having to report to anyone, and you're not under this huge amount of stress for performance and you're not having your dream taken away because of what they want to see come. So, my advice is like having that plan going in, being like, I want to be a profitable business on my own. And then hopefully thinking about and getting advice from other people who have raised and asking for, diligence on the investor, because not all investors fit into what you're looking for, or they just might not be a good fit. A lot of people say you're getting married to your investor, so you really want to have a good relationship with them.
I'll wrap that one up. We were also self-funded, and we took a convertible note just to kind of get our feet in the water in the investment world. So we've pretty recently gotten into that market, and we did take that. And it is really interesting because at those conferences, and I was just at a dinner last night with another female founder who is one of that 2% who did go through her series, and how difficult it is being woman. And that was what the entire dinner conversation was. And if you are a woman in this industry going into the VC, or trying to raise funds, it is 10 times more difficult being a female to try to get fundraising as opposed to a male. I even had to hire someone that is a male to be able to get funding. Like I said before, hire someone that's better at it and who has the connections that you might not have, to be able to get that first round, which is really sad to say, but you gotta do what you gotta do, right? I still own the company, so it's fine. And I think overall, when you're in those investment meetings, and if you do go into this, men tend to over-exaggerate the numbers, and where women, we tend to be more realistic on it, and especially for your goals of where you want the company to be, and that's pretty well known in the industry, that the females are more conservative when saying that, and we are more likely to hit our goals every single time. It is really significant when you look at the statistics that the women founders, when they put out a goal, that they're so much more likely to reach it than a male founder. And yet it's harder for us to get investment because at the beginning we're honest about our goals. So I think that that's really fascinating. And if you're in the VC side, I'm sure these are great women. But yeah, I just find that stuff to be really fascinating. And, I'd always support women because of that fact. But yeah. But men are great too, I swear. Men are great. That's not a hate.
To wrap it up, we'll just, if you each want to just say something, because I'm sure there's women out here that either want to start a business or are in the process of starting a business or are about to give up on their business or whatever it may be, or thriving. So a word of encouragement or a word of advice, and then we can wrap it up.
Sorry. I would just be passionate about what you're doing, love what you're doing. If you go to work every day and you love your job, it's never work, right? So that's all I say.
And I definitely think you should be passionate about what you're doing. I do think sometimes entrepreneurship is highlighted as like very glamorous, and there are so many times when you are like taking out, literally taking out the garbage or doing these things that don't get highlighted as much. So while yes, that should be your North Star to be like super passionate, there are going to be grinding times. And then one thing I always take with me is, as you're building your company, you're going to get so much advice from so many different people, and I kind of bucket it. So I say like 90%, I don't take because it's just not what I do. 5% can be something to think about, and 5% can be game changing, and that helps me really stay focused. Otherwise, I'll go with whatever someone else says.
And my advice is to be really confident about your achievements and let people know that. Growing up in an immigrant household, my parents never complimented me on, the successes I had. They were just expected. And so with that, I kind of internalize a lot of I don't know how to take a compliment. If people saying, hey, you're doing a great job, I'm like, it's nice out today, right? So, it's really taking me a while to kind of like take that those compliments and to thank them and to really talk about our achievements as a company. And I always thank my team because they are the foundation of our business. But, I'm starting to really realize that, I did have a big part in this, and I am the driver, and really believe in yourself, right? Because I think we're all very humble and we like to downplay our achievements sometimes, but really believe in yourself and give yourself that grace. Yeah.
Well, we at Pride and Groom are obsessed with Zippy Paws and everything that you've done. I know I speak for my whole team when I say that, but I feel like I want to echo kind of everything that everyone said, and what Andrea said specifically. Like talking to everyone, it's very easy to be swayed and just kind of be like, oh yeah, that's the idea, and so you have to trust your instincts and and just walk away with maybe that one magical nugget that that someone gives you. But I guess my other things is that it's going to cost more than you think it's going to cost. It's just the reality of it. Doesn't matter what you put in X, it's going to be X times 3. So you just have to know that. But I do think you have to go in passionately and like organically almost. Like you can't go in with, oh, I'm going to exit. You can't go in as an exit strategy or as a business. It has to be, yes, you go in as a business, obviously, but you can't go in thinking, this is the way to make money, that hopefully is going to happen. But I think if you go in with that as the goal, you're less likely to achieve that.
I know it was said, but make sure it is something that you're passionate about. I would also say to know what makes you and your company different. I feel like that's a very common question asked within the pet industry, what makes you different, and, having that answer and knowing what, is special about you and your company is very important. So, thank you.
Awesome. I would say to connect is like the biggest thing, like getting after this, like meeting every single one of these women and getting their contact information and like just connecting. Like I know every single one of them and I've known them for years for this reason. The Pet Summit would literally we would not be here today if I hadn't connected with all of these people. So just my biggest advice is networking with people that think the same and want the same stuff as you. And, especially in the pet space, I feel like a lot of people go in with an exit strategy. Like, oh, billion-dollar industry, I'm gonna make so much money and get out and I made my millions. But like in the pet space, like it's your dog. It's like people's dogs. It's like an emotional industry, I think. And I think some people don't realize that when they start a pet business. They don't see the emotional side to it. And it's like the baby space, It's your child. And in some cases, it's more important than your child. But yeah, so I'd connect and yeah. So thank you everyone for coming. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the Pet Summit.